was Wednesday.
Well, it was the.
They could see security.
It's like yesterday, but.
Yeah.
All right, anyway. Do we have everything in place to begin? Can the audience see? Looks like.
Ask.
Yep. Ready?
What was that? Come in.
Because I might talk into this
Oh.
so that the mic can pick me up on that mic.
That's cool. What is that mic plugged into? The same place? Or?
Yeah, this was what we had before for the public when it was.
Yeah.
When we had all the microphones out, and we could hook other microphones up too, like those,
No kidding.
just in case if there's somebody hard to hear, or we could even use those to pass around the audience if there's somebody who doesn't want to get up to come.
Yeah.
Options.
Yes.
Greg, there is a significant echo coming from your mic, not a Zoom echo, but a room echo.
No.
Oh, well,
Alright.
yeah. All right. Everybody's here who's going to be, I guess. So I'll call the meeting to order at 6:04. Additions and deletions. There are several additions. Shall we just put them in order down below at the end of business?
Yeah.
Yeah. Move to end. Anything else need to be added or deleted?
So what do you have to be added?
Yeah, I may have more than
We
you,
probably do.
because a couple of got added almost at the last minute.
Okay. Okay. What else I put down? Okay.
Yeah,
I think I got that.
okay, good.
We may need to rescind that resolution. Or,
Well, we could just keep it in abeyance.
well, we approved
Yeah,
the hire of somebody who, then the position is now, been opened
Yeah,
up
yeah,
again, so
yeah.
that was just,
Yeah.
that was something actually, Mark thought we
so,
should.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
if the Zoom audience has had access to if you have access to the agenda now, it's complete with the additions. But if you looked at it earlier in the afternoon, you would have been missing the last couple. Which are the NYSEG resolution and the acknowledgement of the credit card prepayment. Privilege of the floor. Is there anyone who'd like to address the board?
Well, mine could actually go under right now.
Okay, okay. Ted, I think, well, I'm sorry if you had your hand up, Ron, but I saw Ted first.
Oh,
Sure.
okay. Sorry, it was Leslie was talking. Can I start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, this is a most interesting video arrangement. For all of its pitfalls, I think I actually preferred the previous one. I know it's not necessary to see the audience, but it actually worked out pretty well. And if to be able to see the town board and the audience, and if the town board would simply make an effort not to sit with their backs to the video, it'd be perfect. No sweat.
Which previous one are you alluding to? The one that was at the planning board meeting or the one before that?
The one from the last town board meeting.
Rearrangement.
Yeah. Anyway, it's it's worth trying, but I think I preferred the old one. The second item, I found it interesting to note that several other towns, I forget which ones, but I'm sure you know, heard what was probably the same presentation from NYSEG about the flare line and passed resolutions against it. Their circumstances may be different than those in Danby. That's quite reasonable to think it might be the case. But I think that there wasn't an awful lot of critical consideration given to it during this during the Danby presentation. I noted on Facebook today, I don't see Mark in the room, but Mark Bruce posted a more or less a job posting for the let's call it the bookkeeper slash assistant slash whatever. And I was very glad to see that. Not that I don't think Joel would always try to do the right thing, and not that I know anything about the qualifications of the person he put forward, and not that at will, is that the right word? At will employees like the assistant clerk or the highway superintendent deputy. Those are absolutely personal choices by elected town officials. Of course, the town board doesn't have to pay them, which sort of leads to a happy medium sometimes. But I did find it uncomfortable the way someone who no one had ever heard of through a selection process that we don't understand came to be put forward just out of the blue. So I'm very happy to see it posted. Thank you. Blake, if you have time, it might be nice to have links to a couple more things on the agenda. For example, the NYSEG resolution, maybe a copy of the correspondence and so on. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoy your meeting. I'm sorry it's on a Friday, but there we go.
It's just a little different. Yeah. Friday night entertainment. Rhonda,
Yes. I hope I can remember all of these things that I wanted to say. At some point in time, I would like to see a comparison between the special events law and proposed law and the events law. That's the first thing before we have to vote on the special effects law so that we can compare. The second thing is that I was told yesterday by the Danby Church that they allow weddings and don't charge for their service or for the site. And I feel that the people who are not charging should still be required to fill out some sort of informational, I don't know, little informational type of thing that would be put to the town, not for a vote or anything like that, but to notify the town that there is going to be this event that isn't going to be charged for, and passed on to the fire department, and also passed on to the sheriff if necessary, so that when somebody has a wedding at the Danby Church, and maybe there would be 200 people, we would notify the fire department so that they could be prepared if something happened. After all, that I have never seen any kind of sprinkler system in that building. If someone were cooking in the kitchen or something, and having a big event, then I think that the fire department ought to be notified in advance. So this is just a sort of a precautionary thing. If the people are going to have an event, even if they're not charging, they need to fill out a form and notify the town, and the town would notify the fire department and the police if necessary. The third thing is that I would like to see the town start taking action against those people who are already having events and charging for their either the event or the site on which they're having the event, so that these people are held accountable. They can be found advertising all over the place on the internet and elsewhere. Some of them have their own sites, internet sites and things like that. And I think that we need to be holding them accountable because they are charging. So a lot of them are close to the Danby State Forest and use that as part of their positive things. Oh, take a walk in the Danby State Forest. So I think we need to start holding them accountable as well. Thank you.
you're welcome. Anyone else? Like to address the board? Being none, we move on. There is correspondence. Like, you want to summarize it for us?
We have a updated. Oh, I forget what it was. I have the paper in the office. I in the rush about to bring it, but there correspondence from the Department of Transportation regarding speed limits on Michigan Hollow and
Hornbrook.
Hornbrook. I believe it is going from
55 to 45.
Yeah.
They approved the speed limit, I think,
yeah.
for those two roads.
And so those changes will be happening whenever
Yeah.
they.
Unlike previous times where we got first, there was notice that it's proof that we're going to do it, but waiting for the orders. This time, it all came in a
It
bundle.
came at the same.
Yeah,
time.
so they said, yes, it's approved, and here's the order, so we can put the signs up right away. Well, that was the last batch, wasn't it? That was.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Was that the whole batch for those two?
No.
There was more to it, right?
yeah.
So we haven't heard any others, but
Well,
that was pretty ground quick for DOT.
yeah,
And then there was, what was the other one? Oh, there was the fellow from Newfield,
Yes,
about Flair.
yes, it didn't make it on the agenda, but I believe his name was Sean Brown. Submitted some correspondence regarding the Ware project. And suggesting that the town board, do a bit more looking into it and gave a link to the public comment page. And said, here's the place to submit submit comment. And he also noted that the public comment period has been extended until, I think it was May something.
Is that for you?
I think it was, yeah. It was pretty far.
did you send that out to us,
I thought
Blake?
March, but
I think it came directly to town board.
yeah, you should have seen it, Leslie. It was shared.
Hmm,
It's in
I
the
should have
meeting,
gotten it.
it's in the meeting folder, and I would have
Mhm.
linked it if Blake had been around this afternoon
Okay, I'll find where to get it.
to do it. But
Okay,
Oh, sorry, public comment period is extended until March 26th.
Ooh,
You're right,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
So yes,
So for what it's worth, Mr. Brown communicated with me earlier when NYSEG was doing their dog and pony show. I'm going to the various towns to share his concerns and ask what we were going to do, which I told them was to have, that we were having that same show here with an opportunity for residents to comment when NYSEG made their presentation. So this is a follow-up though, because you may recall it was reported I think it was reported last month. The town of Newfields and the town of Enfield both passed resolutions
Yeah.
asking for the project to be examined more closely for its impacts. And that's where that stands.
okay. Well, maybe we can look at that for the next meeting. Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah,
Anything else?
I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah.
For correspondence specifically.
But you had an announcement though.
Yes, it is more of a Zoom announcement than anything. In light of last meeting's Zoom bombing, it is obviously not working yet, but in the future, we will be utilizing the host feature of mute all participants and not disabling the unmute function. Basically, the only difference will be that
Have to be recognized to be.
yeah, so it'll be a little bit clunky, but it will make sure that the meeting stays in order. Along with that, I have made a suggestion that when there is a Zoom hand raised, that I will raise my hand as a form of, like, sometimes it can be hard to keep track of, who's showing up on there, and if it doesn't pop up right away. So I will instead raise my hand in lieu of, someone else in the audience raising their hand.
Yeah. If we stick with this configuration, it's far less likely that they'll be overlooked because we're looking right at them, but.
Yeah, but
But nevertheless, I will say that as somebody sharing, I'm focused often on what's in front of me and not
Yeah.
monitoring the hands so much.
So in order to help make sure that the meeting runs smoothly, in the future, meetings will be, once I figure out how to get it, the mute all participants will be enabled. And
Ted
participants-
evidently has a comment on that. Is that what you want to say something about, Ted? If you wish.
Actually, Blake's willingness to be helpful, it mitigates the problem. But, you know, we've had the faith in Zoom attendees for several years with, I would think, very few problems. And one problem that does exist with requiring you to raise a hand, be recognized, and then get unmuted remotely is that sometimes comments are timely. And I've more than a few times had hands raised for 10, 20 minutes at a time. And when I'm finally recognized, my comment is what you would call by that point a non sequitur. There's got to be a happy medium. I think you should aim to trust your attendees. As far as the Zoom bombing goes, well, once out of how many years? And it could have been handled more quickly with a little, if you'd known what to do. So that's my 2 cents.
If I may respond to that, thank you for that note. I will be utilizing the mute all feature in future meetings as soon as I figure out how to make it work. That will be the norm. But I will be on hand to handle all of those sort of Zoom hand moments.
Yeah. One other thing I should have mentioned, it would really be nice if we were able to chat, to send you a message. That way we can tell you, like, for example, a timely comment, which you could then just voice for us if you feel it's appropriate. But we
Yeah, I
have
don't want,
chat
I don't, to me, a chat is a parallel conversation and very similar to the same thing happening in the audience here present. It's distracting. And it's not something that we catch or made part of the record.
Well,
So anyway, the advantage of having the mute is that it keeps people from interjecting without being recognized, which you're bordering on right now.
for what it's worth, in, I guess, the last 2 years or so, I've been able occasionally to send chat messages to Mariah, which sometimes she saw fit to echo on my behalf. And I thought that was a pretty good arrangement for timely kinds of messages.
All right,
All right. Let's see, that was all by way of elaboration on announcement.
Yeah.
Okay. We didn't get anything from Irene, did we?
No.
And is there anything to report from Highway, Laura?
No, not really. It's just business as usual. They've already started cutting brush, when they've had the chance to do that. And starting to do some of the roadside things. So if you hear anything about that and some of the, the work that they do with the brush cutting, that's what's happening now.
We're gonna have to be
Other than that, they're just
waiting
nothing
for the
really-
snow.
waiting for the
Yep,
snow,
waiting to see what's gonna
waiting for
happen
the-
next.
for the roads to
Exactly.
freeze back up again.
Right,
there-
waiting to see what's gonna happen next, and Keith's out at all hours of the morning, night, and all of that, and keeping everybody safe and checking things out. You never know this time of year what's gonna happen.
And there is a supervisor's report. It didn't get linked, I don't think, to the agenda. did it?
No, I
No?
have to move early to get blood, so
Yeah, it's just what I thought.
no good deed goes unsaved.
Yeah, it's in the meeting folder, but that doesn't get the public access to it. Meeting minutes. It's not mentioned here, but which meeting minutes it is. There's the minutes of the previous meeting, right?
Yeah, February 3rd.
February 3rd. I move that we approve the February 3rd meeting minutes.
I second that. Any comments, discussion? Okay,
All right. Connors,
Yes.
Dylan,
Yes.
Larkins,
Yes.
Gagnon,
yes,
thank you.
On to the exciting approval of the warrant.
Hmm. Oh, boy. Hmm. Let's see. I'll move the general fund, abstract 4, vouchers 44 through 76 for $39,316.36.
Second.
I have a question about that. The last voucher in there, the 76,
Mhm.
is for a roll of blue tape.
Mhm.
That blue tape was for the highway department, I think.
Yeah,
What's it doing in the general fund?
That,
for painting. What
For
was it?
painting the.
for painting, it's something that they needed, that roll of tape for something that they were doing with garage.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're buying parts, it would be in DA, right?
Yep, if you're buying auto parts or anything, but anything to do with the garage, anything to do with,
Paint or things like that.
yeah, painting in the garage. Or
Building.
anything like that is all general fund.
Even though it's like repairing the truck, because I would say that is sort of repairing the truck, repainting. That painting was the truck, right? Not the building or,
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was for something in the building.
oh yeah, it happened in the building, but it said on the invoice, the truck.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that part. If that's the case, then it should be in the DA fund. How much is it? Like $29 or something?
The big deal, but I just thought it was wrong. That's
Well,
it,
that's
It
good to
doesn't
see.
say the truck.
on the invoice.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Does it say for the truck?
no, well,
Yes, it does.
where? Oh, dump truck,
Yep.
job.
Oh, okay, so it
job
was
name,
something,
dump truck.
so it was something that they were doing for one of the trucks, so yeah, we should. That was a good catch, Joel. We should move that then to the highway fund. That $23 or whatever it was,
I mean, it's a
23.
horrible misplacement, but
But,
Okay,
I know it's also subtracted from one in addition to the other.
okay, so we're gonna move the 2994 to highway.
Yeah.
2194. 29. Okay, I had a couple,
29.94.
I had on that the same bill, the membership dues for $75.
Right, that was the New York State
wasn't
Association
on
of
the bill.
Conservation Commissions.
It wasn't on this.
Yeah, it was associated. Well, at least it was when I looked at the
It
buffers.
wasn't on this.
What?
The $75 is not on the bill. Is it?
Oh, what? Oh,
I
wait,
didn't find
wait,
it.
wait. Oh, on this bill.
Yeah,
Well, that's interesting.
right.
Well, wait a minute. It wasn't a credit card payment, was it?
What, how could it be paid if it's
Hasn't been
not
paid
on the
yet.
bill?
Hasn't been paid yet. We're authorizing to be paid.
But it's not on the bill.
It's not on the credit
Another
card,
reason-
bill, but we didn't
Oh.
use the credit card. We didn't, we
You
got,
didn't use a credit card.
no. So that's not a credit card
Okay, so
payment,
it's just in with all the credit card stuff.
is it?
So that's confusing.
That is
Okay,
confusing.
so.
Well, it
So,
was probably a late addition to the list. Which is why it's.
Yes, I noticed that some of the credit card stuff was scattered on there
okay,
a little
okay.
bit, so maybe that's where some of that confusion.
so another, well, so,
So we have an invoice for that, but it hasn't been paid yet, and it wasn't paid by credit card.
okay, so it technically should have been up front.
Really simple,
Um,
so-
Other thing is on the bill is Staples from a highway purchase from Staples for $45.95. It's on the bill, but it's not on the abstract.
Hold on just a second.
Funny, we've been so good with these.
Yeah.
This is the first.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, no, this, I don't want to write on it because it's not mine.
Mhm.
But this $45.95 from Staples,
Oh, You know
It's
what
not
it,
on this.
you know what it is? It's on the DA fund, Leslie. What it was a freight.
Okay.
A freight charge for a returned part.
Right.
Okay,
Yes, we had to
Okay.
have a returned part, so it pertained to
okay,
a vehicle.
Okay.
gotcha. So it's on the
It's on
highway.
highway. Yes.
Got it. Thanks. Okay, so do we need to change the total here?
We need to change both of them, right?
No, just the, well,
Because
I mean, the
one-
first one, the general fund,
The general fund needs to be subtracted 2994, was it?
2994. Okay, so I need
And
to,
there's also one less voucher, there's 75, I guess. We want to reassign that voucher and give it
Yeah.
a new number and make it 21 or something for highway.
94. Oh, I'm looking here, guys.
I didn't bring my calculators. Hey, Mark's here. Made it. Yeah,
I think I got it.
4.
39, 286, 42, and it goes, I'll have to, I'm withdrawing my motion
you are? Well,
for
the,
the general.
I just need to modify it.
Nah. Okay, and then this needs to be moved to the highway.
Okay, yeah. 51.
Highways 29, no,
2994
yeah,
more
2994.
than it was.
It would be, the highway would be 51,202.52.
No, 51, 202. Let's see,
51,202.52.
yep,
Okay, and in general it's 30, or what, ended up being
and
39,
there'll be, and it's
286.
21.
Yeah.
Okay,
Boy, that tape caused a lot of commotion, didn't it? That tape.
really,
39.
But you know
38.
what? You guys are being accurate. You're being right down to which is great.
okay.
Thought you could get away with that one, huh?
Yeah,
Nice
look at
nice
there.
try, nice try.
I know it.
The general fund pay for that tape.
39, 286, what?
Okay, so
42.
42.
286, 42.
39.
I'm
Now your motion is,
I'm moving the general fund to abstract 4 vouchers 44 through 75 for $39,286.42.
I'll second it. Any further discussion?
All right. Connors.
Yes,
Dillon. Yes. Larkins.
Yes.
Bruce. Right, and Yan.
Yes.
alrighty. So I'll move the highway fund. Abstract 4 vouchers 10 through 21 for $51,202.52.
Second.
Further discussion?
Connors.
Yes,
Dillon. Yes. Larkins.
Yes.
Bruce.
Yes.
Gannon.
Yes.
Thank you.
move the West Danby Water District Abstract 4 vouchers 3 through 4 for $387.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you say abstract 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Come on.
Second.
Did you?
Seconded it? Oops, pardon.
I didn't.
Oh, second.
Connors.
Yes,
Dillon.
Yes.
Larkins.
Yes.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Gannon.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
And then the unusual one.
and the Danby Fire District Abstract 4 voucher 21 for $611,000.
How did it get to be voucher 21?
I don't know.
Well, I can speak to that if that's okay.
It would, because of
Yeah,
this.
I kind of explained it when I sent out an email It is, the fire district and the general fund are commingled. As far as, in other words, we don't have a separate bank account for the fire district or anything.
Okay,
We have one bank account that includes that money because we just make two transactions. So the SF fund is commingled with the general fund when the tax money goes in and then the tax money goes back out. So we just put it in as a voucher to the next general fund voucher number.
okay, then it should be 22. Because we just created a 21.
No, it's the general,
Oh, it's a general.
general fund.
I don't know, why is it,
General fund.
why is it a 21, which would follow upon the highway to 20?
Well,
And
I
not-
don't. let me
not
take a look.
76.
Let me take a look. Let me take a look. Maybe I was looking at the wrong one when I reported it to you. Oh, what was the last number in the general fund?
75.
75.
Oh, yep, I was looking at the wrong one when I reported that number to you. Yes, it should be the very next number. for the
76.
76, right,
Excuse me, yes,
okay.
the very last number, yes. Sorry about that, guys.
No problem.
Voucher 76. For abstract.
And now we know why.
Fire. Hmm?
Now we know why.
Yeah.
Did that one get seconded?
Not yet.
No, second that. Right. Ready?
Connor?
Yes.
Stewart?
Yes.
Larkins?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Gagnon?
Yes. Okay. On to the business. The special events law went away a while ago. It need to be reworked. And it has been reworked. And here could tell us all about it is
Yeah.
our planner. Great.
Right. So. Yeah, so Mark and Joel and I met just a couple times in the last couple of months to look at this again. So the last time, we saw it, or the town board saw it, was in October 2025, so the three of you were not on the town board then. Since then, we also received input, or I should say in the fall, we received input from public when it was discussed. I guess it was October, it was when it was discussed here, and there were comments then. That, and then also New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets gave us comments in early December on it, as well as the noise law. And so based on that and feedback from Guy too, we just took another pass at it. So we have some changes to show. I think we have a clean copy that's linked in that agenda, and then a track change. I think I'll just show the track change for now. It might look a little messy, but we can always switch over to the clean copy. And just, there's no action tonight.
Yeah.
This is just discussion, questions, comments.
Yeah, I mean, where do we go from here procedurally?
Right. So let me just share that.
So you got share.
If I need, I mean, can people on Zoom hear me? No. Okay, all right, I'm gonna use this, and there might be a little echo, but we'll figure that out later. All right, so let me move some, let's see, Joel, can I just view settings and change that? I'll make it a little easier to see.
Yeah.
Needs to be disabled. Well, maybe. At some point. Yeah.
It's a long ways away, but this table.
Yeah, it's still pretty, let me,
You can make it bigger on the bottom here.
right, I'll just zoom in here.
It was a bit bar, right? Maybe slide over, not quite. Yes.
How many things can I adjust to make it just?
Not too bad.
Okay. Yeah. Even just that. That's good. Okay. So there are a number of sections, we just made suggested changes to the first three sections, really honing in on what is a special event. If you recall, I'm just gonna repeat it because I thought it was a great quote from former board member Tyler Stein saying, an event of 100 people is not special. And that was to me, it was a sticking comment. And there were questions about the density, maybe regulating by acreage of properties. And certainly to Mark or Joel, I don't need to necessarily lead this conversation if we want to jump in and lead it. So the suggestion right now is there's kind of two brackets of criteria of what make a special event. So first, it's any event or gathering in the town of Danby which meets any of the following criteria. So it's just one of these two, and it's based on acreage. So more than 200 people or 75 vehicles on a property that is less than 1 acre, and more than 400 people or 150 vehicles on a property that is over 1 acre. And then so it goes, then that's the first sort of piece.
Yeah.
If you meet that, then you move on to the next piece. If you don't meet that, then you're not a special event. You're free and clear. But which meets at least one of the following conditions. So we reduce these from 5 criteria to just 3, and that's one is that the duration is more than 8 hours. Or the event is held past 9:00 p.m. or requires a fee for admission. So again, if you meet A or B, and you meet one of these, actually got reworked to be C, D, and E in the cleaned up copy, but if you meet one of these, then you're a special event. Except then then we get into the exemptions, and I'll go over the exemptions, then maybe we can circle back if folks have comments.
And I will comment at this point that, one of the hangups we had was that list of exemptions before. It got reworked.
So I'll just read this off. So this hasn't been changed, but the following shall not be considered a special event for purposes of this law: weddings, family gatherings, holiday parties, religious celebrations and functions, graduation parties, and other similar events occurring within or upon the grounds of a private property where the property owner receives no remuneration for hosting the event, and guests and attendees are not charged a fee or asked to contribute a donation for admission. So it's just exempting out private residential parties. And then also what's exempt, an event held on the properties of fire departments, religious institutions, schools, and town of Danby. Before, it was a little bit of a wonky sentence that I think created more questions than clarity. Was an event held on property used for commercial, institutional, or public purposes with available parking for such event, including those related to governmental, religious, and school functions. So it's just exempting out events that are held on these 4 types of properties. They probably could, yeah, so I'll just leave that there. I thought that they're all nonprofits in, potentially a cleaner way could just be to exempt out nonprofits, but I'll leave it there. There's special events, exemptions, questions, thoughts.
That's substantially all the changes, right?
Yeah, but then there were others.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep going through, and then just interject if there's something else. So then section 2 is about when a special event permit is required. And so really just the main change here was that there were some significant time limits. So it was the special event permit needs to be submitted to the town zoning officer at least 90 days before the event. The reason why getting rid of that is just why regulate when they submit the permit? Really, we should just ask that they have the permit in hand at a certain point in time before the event. So the permit, what we're getting down here is getting rid of the 14 days before the special event and just saying the permit shall be obtained at least 24 hours before the special event, and then putting in a little bit of a cautionary note, because this goes to the Board of Zoning Appeals, Because again, it's a land use that is not otherwise permitted in the zone district. So it's appropriate for the Board of Zoning Appeals to be reviewing it. We're just putting in a little cautionary note saying, no, the Board of Zoning Appeals meets once per month and applications need to be received at least 3 weeks in advance of their meetings. It is recommended to apply at least 2 months in advance of the event to allow for the review. So rather than like dictate when they need to submit the permit application and when, it's just saying, do your homework and just plan accordingly.
So I can have a big party and charge people money and 375 people can come on my 2-acre lot.
With a permit.
Without
Without a permit.
Yeah.
I think the changes in this section are really good, by the way. I feel like it went from feeling like an overburdened set of red tape to like, here's how we can help you obtain the permit you need. I feel like it reads totally differently in a really constructive way.
How did you come up with the 100 on?
Oh, it was a back and forth, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I think I might have been the one to first draft those numbers, but it was really trying to address the questions that came up with Tyler, which is, well, yeah, over 100 people. My thinking about this is that primarily we want to make sure that there isn't a dangerous situation. For example, someone hosts an event that gets so crowded that when someone calls an ambulance, the ambulance can't get somewhere. And that is different on a small property than a big property. So that was sort of the idea of splitting it out. Like 100, 200 people on a very large farm with a lot of places for parking, nice open roads feels different than 200 people crowded onto a small lot where, whatever law enforcement or firefighters or ambulance couldn't get through.
Right,
So
but
that was
so I can have 350 people on my 1.5 acres.
And we're gonna park
I
them,
guess
but
if I
the
get-
numbers are not perfect, we're just making a stab, but if you think
Right.
there's like a
Yeah.
better thing, you can suggest a change. I don't think any of us feel like this is perfect, it was just the best we could come up with without overcomplicating it.
and and you say, well, this to us seems like a reasonable thing to propose. Let's see how everybody feels about it. So here we are.
I think it's always gonna feel a little silly if you're like, well, I could have 199 people and not have a permit, and that's true, but we have to put a number down.
Right.
Unless there's some other way to do it.
So then moving on to section 3 requirements. So this is where we had a lot of discussion too. Before, the language said that no special event shall be more than 4 days in duration. And on B, it said no more than 4 special event permits per calendar year shall be issued. We discussed this about why this limit on number of permits, why not talk about number of days? And so we bumped up the number of days for a consecutive event at 7 days, just being a week. And then just the total number of days permitted for special events per property cannot exceed 100 days in any calendar year. That might seem a lot. Where we landed was thinking about, at what point, at what number does that land use become the primary land use, and thinking about half of the year, 182 days. We wanted to keep it way below that, but also we used the example of if somebody said, I want to have a music series every weekend, it's gonna be 2 days, but I'm gonna take, 2 weeks off for that, for the holidays and things like that. So they could have 50 weeks of a 2-day music series on their property, and be covered under permit. That's a pretty extreme example. We don't anticipate that, but.
But when you're drafting legislation, you think in terms of the extreme.
Well, if my next door neighbors are gonna have this party every weekend, what does that mean for the neighbors?
Again, if they're having a party where there's no fee charged, where it's not, if the party exceeds that number, depending on their acreage. And then you're saying if it goes past 9 PM or if there's.
Well, you're saying that my neighbors, can have 350 people on their 2 acres every weekend?
With a permit,
Without,
Without a permit,
without a permit.
I mean, but
Yeah.
it's like that now.
but it's like that right
right,
now.
right,
Okay.
right, not many people,
And I
yeah,
think,
I get you, I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Yeah.
just,
I think the ideal is always if a neighbor has a problem with another neighbor, they should be talking to each other. We're just trying to create a framework for
Right.
when that is not working anymore, or when we need to. put
Or
some
when it's
laws
too
around
big.
what- Yeah, too big, or, I think ideally though, if your neighbor's having a party too often and it doesn't fall at all into this framework, I think the ideal is still you go talk to your neighbor and say it's bothering me, here's why. We're just dealing with the other stuff.
Or then this could come back to the town board and say, maybe we need to lower these thresholds.
right, right.
If it becomes a problem.
I'll also say that when we talked about any of these numbers, and I'm sure people are on all sides of this, my perspective is err on the side of bigger, because I would rather not accidentally make a law that
It's too
limits
restrictive.
parties, like to Tyler's point. I do want to live in a town with a lot of fun events going on, as long as those events are okay with our neighbors. But I would rather err on the side of, allow for a little bigger, and if it's a problem, let's come back to it, rather than allow for smaller and find that people are frustrated that they can't throw backyard barbecue or whatever.
yeah, and I realize this is a special event and not the noise law, but
Right.
I am also cognizant of the fact that we've got neighbors who are
Noisy.
having issues with.
Yeah.
with-
Which we probably might better address with the noise law. That's on the back burner too, but, and they're related. We didn't deal with the noise in this one.
That's.
Yes, it is.
We did it.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah,
So then we're going down, so then this is the last, well, no, the second to last sort of main addition. And Mark suggested there's a new requirement, it's incorporating sound volume. So it's the operator of the special event shall be responsible for maintaining reasonable noise levels during the event. If the special event involves amplified sound, the operator is responsible for ensuring that adjacent properties will not be subject to sound level higher than 60 decibels using an A-weighted noise calculation measured at the property line from 7 AM to 9 PM, and 50 decibels using an A-weighted noise calculation measured at the property line from 9 PM to 7 AM. In cases where an adjacent property is separated by a street from the special event, the sound level will be measured at the property line of the special event. So basically just the property of the special event is where the noise level, using this A-weighted noise calculation, that was a suggestion from Guy. So there's all these different weighted calculations. He described A, B, C, and D to us. It was a lot of information, but he recommended ultimately
Yeah.
A.
okay.
So this is where,
Which as he explained it is, it gives it emphasizes the hearing range of people. Right, at A,
right. It was a lot.
yeah,
There's a request to comment online.
was it?
Yes.
It's
Oh,
not a public
okay.
hearing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Let's keep going through.
yeah, let's,
We'll never get.
It's just, we're almost done with the main changes here.
so this is, I mean, not mentioned in this whole thing is, how you're gonna get this actually measured if we put it in the law, but.
Well, that's where to actually enforce that would be the town buying some sort of sound.
Yeah.
decibel
Measure.
meter.
Yeah, which need to be calibrated and all that stuff. Or having a sheriff's office equip themselves to do it.
I used to have a light meter when I worked for a different place. I went
Yeah.
around at night, midnight to test the lights. Because apartment buildings were going up all over the place and neighbors were rightly concerned, and I would go at midnight to count cars in the parking lot and measure light level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure that people really like that.
The neighbors might.
I think the advantage of doing it this way is, first of all, it puts the onus on the person who wants to plan the event
Yeah.
to come to the BZA with an explanation for how they're gonna limit noise,
Right.
which feels better than some of the other ways, which is like, oh, you can make a complaint and then somebody has to go out there and measure it and then we determine, like this feels like it would make someone, it also kind of shoehorns, or maybe that's not the right word, but like puts the neighbors who might have concern and the event planner into a conversation in the BZA. So like there's a place for people to like say that still didn't work, or can you shift the stage, or whatever the different things are that come up. It feels better than just sort of how it's going now, which is like Facebook or something. It creates a space for that conversation to be held a little more productively.
Yeah, and it also means that if you're someone who's proposing, you might do your own investigation to see how loud is this at the property line in advance, so that you're not confronted with it. And as you said, it'd be part of the conversation with the BZA when during the process of getting the permit anyway.
The only other, the last comment or change was just removing the escrow amount. So the original draft of the law, just that the special event operator would provide $1,000 in escrow. The thought was that this might really deter people from holding an event. And so just maybe lean on the town's laws or state laws about property maintenance. So saying the town will enforce any applicable property maintenance laws if the operator fails to clean up their property within 3 days after the event concludes, and the operator agrees to reimburse the town for any documented costs associated with off-site cleanup after the event if the operator fails to do so.
Now, this is only if they get a permit.
Correct.
Yeah, they can make as much as they want if they don't have.
Right.
Keep it under that.
350 people on 2 acres, I don't need a permit. So I'm just gonna have, where are those people gonna go to the bathroom? In my house?
Yep.
Well, like you provide a porta potty.
Is there any? We don't want.
You're talking about like something like a wedding.
Yeah, like a wedding.
Right,
You'd get a porta potty. Most people do.
well. If my neighbor had 150 people over, it would flow into my yard. I don't know that we wanna just. I see that you have location of sanitary facilities on site.
Yeah, this is just for special.
If they're getting a
events.
permit.
It's just when they reach that threshold to get it.
Okay,
Just that you're not comfortable with the numbers.
I'm not comfortable with the numbers. I hear that Tyler was on the other side.
Yeah.
Tyler has a lot of acres. I got people on 75 yards from me, which is pretty big, but.
I mean, we can think about the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking, okay, next door is 10 acres. Because we had to make it 10 acres, and to have 400 people on that piece of property is a lot. But you wouldn't, I mean, most people I know that have weddings and graduation parties, if they're gonna have a lot of people, they get Jeff's, to drop off a porta potty. I mean,
Yeah, and also they would have a property that's got enough open space to accommodate them. You're not gonna be in a wooded property for an event like that.
why not?
We can put-
I do
put the
know that
park-
there was sewage flowing on a property where there was a special event down on South Danby Road, I think.
Exceeded the capacity of the septic system.
Yeah, it went right into the creek.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Good.
What
In
numbers
South Danby?
would you be more comfortable with?
We could think about it, but
Well, I guess I'd have to think about it.
Yeah.
which is what the next step is, this is just
Right.
opening position, so to speak.
Or there's 3 tiers.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna have any of these events with more than 200 or more than 400 people, is there a provision for absolutely you need to have some porta potties? I get it. I see that it says, the location of sanitary facilities on site. I'm just saying, when you have more than 100 people, people need to pee and poop.
I think it's true that
Don't
no
feed
matter
them.
how many people or the size of the acre, we're not limiting family gatherings or weddings. So in any, right?
Yeah.
That's a good reading of this, so
1,000
we're
people.
like, we are, and I
Right.
think, right,
Without a permit.
Right,
we're not trying to limit gatherings of people for, you know, private personal events. And I don't really, if I had to guess, I wouldn't think that people in Danby want us to be doing that. So I think it's good to make sure we're staying in the lane of the types of events that are maybe
Special.
commercial, I mean, generally commercial, someone's making money, and so there's a profit motive where you might say they're gonna try to skimp on the toilets to save money, and that's why we need to protect their neighbors from that profit motive. And not only that, but I think that's a general way of thinking about it.
In effect, though, when we do this, and saying this is what constitutes a special event, we're saying in effect that these other things are normal residential activities. They're not special.
Yeah.
Don't have to define it that way, but that's what we're doing, in effect.
I mean, weddings and graduations. and things
Graduation
like that,
parties.
those don't happen every weekend.
Yeah.
So I don't think that
Right,
we have to worry
exactly.
about that.
Good.
I mean, one thing might impact neighbors, but that's not gonna happen over and over again.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. And people are usually pretty understanding if you have a wedding or graduation or something, you know, if it's not something that's gonna recur, so even if it's a little annoying, there's a noisy, there's a bunch of people, it's just the one-off. But when it becomes a regular thing, that's when people get saying, when it just is affecting the quality of my life here, there should be some regulatory limits. So keep in mind, what we're trying to do with the special events law is to enable that which is not currently allowed.
right.
The clerk got you.
Yeah.
I'm just.
So I think it's,
Streets don't.
yes, and I think it's perfectly reasonable to say, well, at what level, where's the trigger for it's special and not
Right.
normal? So, that's most of it, right?
That's it.
Yeah. So where do we want to go with it next? I mean, does the, do you think that we should, you know, ponder it a little bit and then come back to it with our thoughts for the next meeting? Because, I mean, if we were going to propose it, we would want to have an opportunity for the public to know about it ahead of time, look at it. And we can't do it for the next issue of the news because it's already gone to bed. So we're looking at doing it for the April anyway.
Right, and just know I won't be at the next town board meeting.
Oh.
It'll be what?
So we'll talk about it then.
Yeah, right. They talk about it without
I mean,
it.
I would propose that we put this in front of the public and hear what the public have to say. I mean.
It is right now.
It is.
I mean, we just did it. I mean, it's on, you know, it's now
well,
public
I mean,
because we're dealing with
public
it.
hearing.
Yeah, the trouble with the public hearing is you
What I
then,
was saying is wait till April to have the public hearing.
Yeah.
Because the newsletter for March already went out, so we
Gotcha.
want. If we talk about it, say the second, bring it back the second meeting, I would suggest bring it back the second meeting in March. As a discussion, we have time to think about it, just only because I'm not going to be here
Right,
for the first meeting.
Yeah.
Think about this, I'll remind you all before that second meeting, I'll send this off. Come back with your notes and thoughts, discussion, and then maybe it's to a point that is agreeable and, or to a place that then April is a public hearing, first or second, maybe second meeting in April.
yeah,
I think ideally, I'm good with that timeline. Mariah, I think ideally, we would be happy with what we bring to a public hearing. So like, if you're
Right,
still not happy
right.
with the
You don't
numbers,
wanna do it
we should be
together.
working on it, and we
Right.
should come up, we should assume that each of us represents some group of Danby who will think also have that same idea. So we should come up with some numbers that we are all
Yeah.
happy with and
Yep.
then bring that.
Okay.
because once you get to a public hearing, you have a specific proposal and you can pass that.
Yeah.
But you can't
Whether you gotta
substantively
start
change
it
it.
over again.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't substantively change it without
Gotcha.
having another public hearing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But we have time to do that now.
Yeah, just remember the public hearing notice costs $70, so yes, we don't wanna go once and then go again.
No.
Okay,
You don't have to.
Bring something that you were ready to approve.
okay, second meeting in March,
But right,
revisit.
we could,
And something if you put in the newsletter saying,
we could.
check out the website.
Well, which we always do, but
and-
you know, but that, we missed this one.
Yeah.
So you would,
Mm.
next opportunity would be that April
Right.
issue. And if we're gonna say, well, take a look at it, we haven't decided to schedule it yet, and then you're looking at May,
Yeah.
So it would be good if we we propose something that we're willing to pass, basically, unless
Right.
people have serious objections to it. Like as a question.
I have a question. There is no mention in the current draft of this law of like the clerk holding on to a copy of the application. That is sort of like a standard thing that is in a lot of like laws, just kind of thrown in there randomly. I don't know if that's something that you want to consider. I am perfectly fine with not having to file another freaking piece of paper. But if that is something that we want to hold on a more permanent basis, we need to set up a separate records schedule or retention schedule for that.
The applications themselves.
Yeah, applications and permits, whether or not they're denied or.
Yeah.
approved.
Of course, it'll be in the record of the BZA.
Yes,
That's true.
BZA records are still under my purview as town clerk, but.
Yeah.
Various like things within them are not. we've hired-
Pulled out as
Yeah,
such.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like there may be a general statute for how long you have to hold on to like BZA related applications that we may want to adjust for the case of like this, like maybe we'll want to hold on to these, applications for 40 years. I don't think we would, but
Well, permanently.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting historical artifacts. of-
Yeah. Who was having what party when?
Yeah.
There's an argument for that kind of
And
thing.
who was invited?
Yeah. There's an argument for that historical preservation and also an argument for, well, that's too much paper to hold on to.
Yeah, but don't do it on paper. We could store these things electronically.
Yeah, it's all going into cloud.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay, so we'll bring it back the second, we'll think about it and try and get people to read it and come back the second meeting in March.
And I'd say certainly don't, I guess I don't let me stop you from talking about it.
Yeah,
first meeting in March. I just won't be here to.
Yeah.
Provide it. So, by all means.
I mean, we could also encourage people to read it on the website and tell us.
wow.
Additionally, I can make a post on the website.
A
Put it on-
Facebook page.
Put it on the web, we could mention it on Facebook.
Yeah.
page.
Big box on the front page.
Yeah.
Could put it on the front page of the website for people to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
looking for comments,
Yeah, the hot
Yeah.
topics spot.
Yeah.
Just below that giant box. That giant box
Yeah.
I've been trying to like update with like anything that's
Yeah.
happening that day.
Mhm.
Like today I left early, so I put up town clerk's office will be closing at 3 PM today. Yesterday there was, or 2 days ago, there was like 3 days, I don't know. Talk about ferns that we put up for that
Yeah.
day, it was that night. So we're trying to get like
That's
really
cool.
current.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
frequently find exactly what I'm looking for in the hot topics box.
The special event block is in the hot topics.
Yeah.
But it's from the October version, so I'll just replace it right now.
Cool.
Cause I'm not hearing any suggested changes to it,
Not
not
really.
yet.
Not yet.
I mean, do you have a number, Mariah?
Well, 400 people is a lot of people. No, I'm just,
I'm not discounting,
yeah.
like,
Right.
it seems like it has potential to go horribly wrong, but also it seems like if you're setting up an event with that many people, you have to be pretty thorough.
Right,
I don't know. I mean, just from personal experience, like,
yeah, 400 people, you're gonna have porta potties.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't think,
They
but
absolutely.
isn't,
yeah, it depends on the age.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how much you care about your property.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah, and I agree too. But doesn't this in effect, well, I think what Mariah's point is that, you're not gonna have that process of,
Right.
review as part of the permitting if it's under the trigger.
Right.
Right,
So maybe the trigger should be, at what point do we think it's really important that people have that kind of input? And if 200 and 400 are the numbers are too big, question is, what's the right number?
Yeah.
And 3 tiers
We
might
have
not
time
be
to
a
think
bad
about it.
idea.
Yeah,
Say,
3 tiers could potentially,
Yeah, it could be. Sure.
1, 5 and over 10 kind of thing.
Right, I mean, you've also got cars, so if
Yeah.
you're on a very narrow road,
Right.
you know, and you got a lot of cars, if you're on a wide road, you know, you can park on both sides.
Mhm.
That's something different than if you're on a narrow road.
Yeah.
Well, we,
Cool,
I mean, I really am glad that we're getting somewhere,
yeah.
having a,
Feels like we're close.
Yeah.
you know.
mhm.
And the good thing of this, maybe last thing I'll say is that with it being reviewed by the Board of Zoning Appeals, is that they're a discretionary body and, you know, they're able to look at things like that, that maybe it's like the zoning law, you know, you look at a property that's going through a review, you look at the zoning law, sometimes things match up and they work well and sometimes they don't quite. And so
Yeah.
the Board of Zoning Appeals is there to maybe adjust things if needed. And so, right, maybe the parking, you know, or maybe they have a lot of wetlands on their property, and so
No parking, yeah.
things need to be, yeah, there's no parking, there's no available parking on their property, so they have to figure that out, whether it's off-site or
Hmm.
maybe they just don't even get the permit. So,
Okie dokie.
So should just put it up the way it is and see whether we get
Yeah.
we get a hue and cry about this ridiculously
I
too
think
big.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think even at our next meeting, if you want, I think we could put it on this agenda just to talk about any changes that we want, you know, before the public.
Right.
hearing.
Okay,
Mhm. Quick comment, Sid?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I won't comment on, but I'll just go back to that A weighting business. Paraphrasing from Wikipedia, A weighting was originally intended only for the measurement of low-level sounds, skip, 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 and when assessing potential hearing damage and other noise health effects. The reason you, Joel, said that it was where people hear, what they were trying to do is protect people against hearing damage. That's not appropriate when you're talking about annoyance value. If you have someone playing a bass at, 100 hertz, A weighting won't hear it at all.
Would you
It'll
should
keep
get
you
the
awake all
alternative?
night.
We can,
Have you got, which of the alternatives would you suggest?
I would suggest the one that is built into most common sound meters I think by regulation is C weighting, which also rolls off, but much less and at much lower frequencies. I think the case is also at the high end, A weighting. I'm looking at a chart here. A weighting and C are about the same at the high end, but they make a big difference at the low end. And just because I see it, I think you're being very generous with 60 decibels. A little bit more would be okay. Whereas 50 decibels is not too soft at midnight.
Middle of the night, yeah.
Yeah, a library quiet is considered around 40. That's it. I hope that's quick.
Thanks.
thanks.
you do,
So we'll bring it back second meeting in March,
yeah,
which is the 19th, I think.
just for further discussion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in consideration.
Yeah.
You, I don't know if you remember this or not. I was approached, you recall that at the, I think it was the last meeting,
Yeah.
we supported the Finger Lakes Land Trust's acquisition of, was it 70 acres or so? In West Danby to add to the Lindsay Parsons Biodiversity Preserve using a WQIP grant. They went to the outfit. Over here. There it is. They went to the New York Climate Resilience Grant Program to try to get funds to help them to support the transaction costs of that acquisition. And they asked me if I'd write a letter of support, which I did. You know, and that's in the meeting folder too. I said in my letter, the town of Danby fully supports all efforts related to this project, and I'm confident we'll pass a formal resolution in favor of the project at our February 20th town board meeting. So I move that we the Danby Town Board supports the Finger Lakes Land Trust application to the New York Climate Resilience Grant Program.
Is there any money involved?
Well, if they get it, there's, that, I'm
Well,
not,
they get money.
they get money, they're applying for grant.
Yeah, it's a
We're
great,
supporting their application.
Oh, I'll second that.
They're trying to get money to help make this happen without them having to just spend all of it. You know, they got the grant to help acquire the funds, but it doesn't give you the, you know, the application assistance that they're hoping to get a little bit more support for it.
Got you.
So, any discussion?
All right, great. Connors?
did we vote?
Or,
Or
yeah,
did we,
was-
yes.
was- yeah, was it-
Did somebody move it?
Yes,
moved
you
it.
moved She seconded.
and Mariah seconded it, yeah. Yeah.
Must be 12. Yes,
Dylan? Yes. Larkins?
Yes.
Bruce? Yes. Daniel?
Yes. All right.
can I make one comment that's related?
Sure.
That there, I mean, the reason why I had trouble, sort of a little bit of trouble with it at the last meeting.
You thought it would
Was
be
it-
better suited.
We've got properties in Danby that are, you know, eroding directly into the Buttermilk Creek.
Mhm.
I mean, severely. And where's the you know, I wish, I wish the money that they had gotten to protect the, you know, the watershed would have gone towards helping with that situation.
Mhm.
That's really bad.
Yeah,
And like, if we can help get some money to do something, to get somebody to help with that situation.
you know, we could apply for that same
Well-
WQ. You can apply for WQIP for that sort of thing.
I think the
I would-
county does a lot of that stuff, gonna blank out on the name, but the
Soil and water.
Water district, yeah.
Well, I think we
They
need
have
to-
projects that are specifically for shoring up those banks. I know because Whitehawk looked at it, because where we have that creek, and then, but really it's coming from further up. The
Right.
sides are all just getting washed in more and more, and I know that that's needing to sediment buildup. We'll talk to them at some point about
Yeah.
that. So I don't know what options are available, but certainly it seems like we could engage them if we want to be more proactive.
We talked about this a
It's
little
too
bit.
late, but it's better late than never. I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
it's,
Well, I mean, well, the question is, the reason, of course, the land trust got involved in this and they went through WQIP plan
Right.
because they wanted to add on to they're trying to get
right,
money to support
Right.
that acquisition from the old, that's
right,
Shasky, you know, property
Right.
to add it to the biodiversity preserve, and they got it. Which is not to say that there are not a lot better places in terms of the impact of the
The need,
money
yeah.
invested in reducing problems downstream.
Right.
The Buttermilk Creek is really in sad shape. When we had the issue at the intersection, was it Miller?
yeah,
A couple of years ago, about, you know, they've got flooding issues there. Looking at there was buildup, but then we never go around the bend and it all comes together and goes downstream. You know, it's eroding badly all the way to the falls, you know, when it goes down to Buttermilk Creek. And that's a confined aquifer into that, you know,
Yeah.
and if we break into that aquifer, then we're draining what little water we've got. So it's significantly, well, it's an important problem in terms of
Yeah.
the future accessibility of water, which is limited in this valley, to deal with that issue.
Yeah.
And that's probably
Okay.
grounds enough to be chasing money to deal with it.
yeah, okay, well, we should
Yeah.
start looking at that, yeah.
But that's a good point, but not applicable in this particular instance. So we have to vote,
Okey-doke.
right? Ready?
Already voted.
Yeah,
We did vote?
yeah,
Okay.
we did.
Now we go back to lectures.
Town hall meeting room used by,
Oh, right. That's something Blake can explain better than I.
Yes, the current room use policy requires applicants who want to use the meeting room to seek seek approval from the town board at a regularly scheduled board meeting. There, I believe at one point was a draft of a newer version of that policy that hasn't yet passed.
Right.
That still has not passed yet, so we got a request from lawyers representing the town in a matter to use the meeting room, and so they said, hey, can we use the meeting room on, I've forgotten which day it was, but there's no current
There's
conflict.
no conflict?
Yeah, there's no conflict, so.
Do we need to vote?
Yes, we do. So
I'll move.
okay. So Leslie's
take-
moving that we allow this use of the meeting room by the lawyers for the town in this matter. And I'll second it.
We don't know when it is.
Yeah.
He does know,
He said there's
and I
no
know too. I should have put it on.
I forgot to.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is no conflict.
Yeah, I'm just gonna speculate what day of the week it was. I don't remember.
I feel like it was a Wednesday.
Yeah, it was either Wednesday or Thursday. I just remember
It's sometime later.
within a week.
Yeah, as soon as tonight's meeting is over, I'll
Okay,
put it on the calendar, be blocked off.
Mhm. Ready?
Yeah,
All right, Connors?
yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Larkins?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Gagnon?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now I got the meeting.
Can we also circulate the latest version of that town hall meeting room use?
It was supposed to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to come back 2 meetings ago. And we got so busy that
Yeah.
it didn't get up on the agenda.
We can send it, we'll do it.
Can we put it on for sure?
meeting.
Let's put it
Yeah.
on for sure next time.
Yeah.
Because it's almost ready to consider basically.
I might have seen it before, or maybe the last time it circulated was before January.
It was definitely,
Yeah.
it goes back a lot farther than that.
Yeah.
It was something we had hoped to pass last year
Just
and
take
didn't
out
get
the
to.
sentence.
Although I will say that the revision does not, wouldn't have addressed this instance.
Yeah,
All the main changes to eliminate the
Insurance,
insurance requirement, to make it easier for not-for-profit groups to use the space. And we checked it out, that our insurance covers us adequately, so.
that was the main thing we were gonna take out of
Yeah.
that. Okay,
But, and there were a lot of other options for things that we could do, but in the end, we kept it simple.
okay.
All right. Succession planning. At the last board meeting, there was some concern expressed that the person I had chosen to succeed Laura might have been pursued more extensively before making an appointment. So I agreed afterwards to sort of hold it in abeyance while we broadened the search for somebody else. Not so much, for two others to see what who else is out there in case there's some outstanding candidate that would be better suited to our situation. We had a discussion, and I sensed board approval for making the position full-time, but that never was voted on. What was voted on was a $10,000 allocation to train for a transition, but not but the additional money to make it full-time was not. Despite the fact that we didn't do that, I posted the job with the full-time salary on the county's
What we did.
website. Like I said, there was board support for it, but there was no resolution to make it potentially full-time. And Mark made the point, and it's a good one, that depending on who applies, they might, somebody that, not everybody would necessarily want a full-time position.
Right,
So if there were a really good candidate and they only wanted to do
part-time.
part-time.
Yeah.
Then, we should have the flexibility to do that. And I'm open to that. So what I think ought to be out there is a possibility of it being full-time, if that makes the most sense. And then possibly being part-time if that makes the most sense. So we're not committed to full-time, but we're willing to do full-time if that seems to be the best path forward. So,
I mean, in some ways it might, I mean, I always look at that position as being sort of 3 jobs. So, I mean, if we had, job duties for whatever sections, I mean, could keep them all separate, but then somebody might be hired that wants to do 2 of them.
mhm, yeah.
And have a full-time job.
Right.
So,
And there was also, and this was why it was hard for me to bring this forward last time because they're all confounded.
right,
We've got Julia, who has, who has moved the bill paying, function back to the clerk's office where it belongs. But she's willing to take on some additional duties. And depending on what the talents are and interests are of a new person, we could divide up the job, partly more, a little bit more for Julia, and less the other way, whatever. All of that is a possibility. The driver for me in suggesting that it be bundled into a full-time position was that, first of all, I thought there's more than full-time work there based on our experience with what Laura's doing and trying to do, and how difficult it has been for her to do everything timely. It gets it all done, but not always when you would have preferred it to be done. So, I mean, to me, that suggested all along that you needed some more help. What we're doing here by carving off part of the job, well, we did it twice. We did it once with Julia, taking the bill paying stuff and putting it back in the clerk's office.
well, that's where it's supposed to be.
That's where it's supposed to be, but Laura had taken it on,
Right.
just to help out. That helped. And having the highway secretary job, which Laura's also doing, be cut off of it also takes another chunk off the table,
Right.
off the plate, if you will.
Right.
So, but I think that, what remains is still, a full-time person's worth of work. I spoke with, well, as part of the process of looking more broadly, I spoke with the bookkeeper for the towns of Enfield, Newfield, and Ulysses, who was supremely qualified, and who came to her position somewhat fortuitously, I guess you'd say. She was in the right place at the right time. He was a Newfield resident, and they needed somebody, and she happened to be available because she had a high powered position. She's a CPA. She was the chief financial officer for Broome Community College. And she gave that high level position up because of her wanting to care for her mother, who was in declining health. And her mother ended up in a nursing home about the time that Newfield needed somebody. And so she said, I'll help out.
Yeah.
And then she picked up Enfield and she picked up Ulysses because they were in close proximity. It's a short drive.
Right.
But she's got a very full plate now with all 3 of them.
Right.
So I spoke with her about it. She spoke to the process, and she said, she's currently also training somebody in the town of Irwin to be their bookkeeper. And then it's like, it's frustrating because we went through it for the whole year. A new person, decided it wasn't what you wanted to do, and they're starting all over again.
Okay, so what do we need to do?
Yeah, so that happened. I also spoke with Mark this morning about what he does. Their bookkeeper is also doing more than one town and doesn't have any extra capacity to deal with that.
In Caroline.
In Caroline. We did, like I say, we posted it online, but with a reply date, this was after talking to Mark about the process of the 24th, which is next Tuesday.
Right.
But then talking to a couple of people, there was the thought that maybe we should put it in the newsletter. And I did, but that's past the deadline. So if we want to have it be open to somebody to apply in response to the newsletter, we would probably should choose to extend the application period to sometime after the 1st of the month.
Like mid-March.
well, maybe the end of the first week would suffice, but and then that somewhere between that first March meeting and the second March meeting is when, interviewing and selection could take place. I'll say this too, besides being put on the website, it was on the radio. Yes, they picked up on it. And Blake has it nicely set up on the website. So if you go to the website, it actually links you to the county site so you can do the application.
Oh, yeah,
But that won't work if it's closed past the 24th.
right, right. And if you put it in to go for the March newsletter, I mean, some people, maybe don't get that right on the 1st of March.
Right. So you
So-
want to give them at least till the end of I keep forgetting to read my calendar here, but you want to give them into March. Which also raises the
One of the
question though.
meetings in March. Do you know?
So
One of the meetings in March,
the 3rd and the 17th,
3rd and the 17th,
so
Yeah, okay.
have to be the
maybe
17th.
7th or something.
Yeah, I would say the end of the first week. Is that,
The 7th is a Saturday,
yeah, so
Seventh,
maybe
uh,
the Monday,
the
following,
9th,
maybe?
the 9th,
Monday the 9th.
Monday the 9th?
Monday the 9th? Yeah, I mean, that gives people the weekend.
Mhm. So, we don't have to vote on this, but I'm proposing
No,
that
okay.
we'll do that. Leave it open till Monday the 9th. And then extend the county website application process to that point. And then, what role would anybody on the board like to participate in terms of interviewing and, checking references and, as part of the selection process, what role would you like to play?
yes.
Yes,
Everybody?
sure. We can have a special.
Yeah,
Maybe.
at least some representation, whatever, even if there being two of us or something like that.
It could be everybody if everybody wants to.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then, I guess I would like propose a resolution that that the option of being full-time is supported by the board. If it turns out to be the best choice. Since there's nothing in the record to indicate that we're doing anything other than what we got now, which is part-time.
So the bookkeeper position is part-time.
Mhm. Laura's
And-
full-time because virtue of putting 3 positions together.
Well, so she's bookkeeper,
Bookkeeper, assistant to
She's-
supervisor, which is separately,
right? Aren't they
Listed.
2 part-time jobs?
Yep.
So isn't that a full-time job?
well,
The two of
those
them
two together,
Huh?
One of them is much less,
yeah.
like bookkeeper is maybe 30 or 30 something,
Laura can tell us this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, what's the total,
Forgot you were there.
yeah, she's there.
I'm here, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the combination of, I don't have the budget in front of me, but the bookkeeper plus assistant to the supervisor adds up to less to full-time currently, right?
Wow.
You know what? I do things so automatically that it's
Yeah.
hard for me to even be able to gauge this, you guys. I mean, everything about my job is just so interactive with the town and the I would say that assistant to the supervisor, and then again, coming up with a description of what that really is, assistant to the supervisor.
But
And
that's
all
not the question though.
No, she's-
there's a lot of meetings, there's meetings with the Health Insurance Consortium, there's a bunch of things.
You're at hours.
I would say that you could use somebody 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
In being the bookkeeper and the assistant to supervisor, watching the budgets properly, being there for staff. And that's what that's what I do a lot, is make sure I'm there for staff, and staff has a lot of questions and has a lot of different things we're working with, being there to All right, let's say for instance, Greg needs a bunch of checks written for the CDBG program. Or during the budget process where I go and meet with each of the department heads. And we talk about future projects, we talk about future goals, we talk about many things to kind of analyze where things are going. So, like I say, for me to be able to, and I'm also one of these people too that takes a job or takes a situation and just goes far into it. Okay. So it depends on what kind of service you guys are looking for. I guess that's what I am saying. If you want somebody that's just going to be able to do the books and do the processes, that's one thing. If you want someone that's like part of a big team on a daily basis and looking at all of those types of things, then a full-time, that could easily be full-time.
You know, the question
Again, it could
is,
be part-time too. I can't
Yeah.
really, I can't really say that because like I say, I put a lot into things and have been here for a long time and involved in a lot of things, involved and engaged in a lot of things. So, but if you're just talking about the tasks involved,
what way
have
to,
someone in there part-time, but like I say, it depends on what you're looking for.
yeah. Laura, the question though, at the moment is what's in the budget for assistant to supervisor plus bookkeeper equals what? And is
Oh,
that a full-time salary?
I think that is
More than
about 49 right now. 40, hey, I'd have to go back and look, you guys.
If we moved it to
Sorry,
50.
I'm sorry, I wasn't um expecting that question.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and look. Was it 41, 49? It was in the 40s, let's put it that way. I can go.
I thought it was about a $10,000 addition to make it full-time from where we were.
Yes, it's about a $10,000 addition to make it full-time. I can give you some exacts.
Can I interject, please? Full-time, when you say full-time, you're talking 40 hours? Because my understanding is full-time could be anywhere from 32 to 40 hours. Are you talking full-time for benefit purposes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I believe that's 32 hours.
I asked this question.
So I mean, if it's, I just want to say, if paying somebody $25 an hour at 32 hours a week, that's 40,000 a year.
Yeah, I think what you're alluding to, and it's right, for a full-time person with salary, when you subtract out vacation, holidays, what you're left with amounts to an average of 32 hours a week. Even though they're working 40 hours for the weeks that they're working.
Well, the town clerk is a 32-hour-a-week position with full benefits.
Mhm.
Now, didn't we at one time, if I remember back, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm not even sure if you can even see me. I was on to something else. At one time, I believe when we were looking at this, and we hadn't really visited that question, we had the town clerk in there 32 hours, I believe, but it was determined that the amount of time that the town clerk spent at board meetings, uh, different things that could be considered almost 40 hours. I mean, you've got to figure 2 board meetings a year, 2 board meetings a month, and the time in preparation for that. The town clerk would stay longer during that day and then into the evening for the town board meeting. So this is way back before you were here, Mariah. That's where it was all talked about in that way. But as far as our policy goes, or we have always, as far as benefits go, a person would have to work 30 hours a week and they would receive 75% of the benefits that
Right.
everybody else got. But the town clerk, if I remember right, and that could change, that might be a different thought of that now, years ago, was that the town clerk actually, when they figured it out, actually was putting in about 40 hours a week. With all the extra things that the town clerk did and the duties and staying for town board meetings. And then in the summer times too, they would come in, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in the summer or the winter time. They would come in a few hours on a Saturday morning. So that was back then. This is now. So, but I don't know. I did want to check with, because the retirement system sort of runs some of this too, as far as what would be considered full-time, where a person would earn 10 days every 2 weeks for a bi-weekly salary. So we need to look at that again and
And,
and
and
take
Look at
I,
everybody's.
I just think it would be fair to, since the town clerk is working a full-time job, that, that pay be equitable with the bookkeeper.
Yeah, I think we're definitely, getting, the clerk is putting in a lot of time for what the clerk is paid. I hate to tell you this, but I'm putting close to full-time at this point
Right,
for
I would
34,000.
think, yeah. Agreed.
But I'll also say that that's commonly the case. It's not like we're unusual, clerks and electeds are generally underpaid everywhere.
The other thing too, I hear your conversation, in looking for this other person. You're looking for someone, I've heard you say like a 4-year degree. I've heard you say with a lot of experience and degrees. It's like, what's going to attract a person to come there with that type of experience and to stay? So that's something to think about too. I know that when you get this person on, you're gonna want them to stay and be happy where they're at and what they do. You have someone with that kind of experience out there. And what you're talking about, the degrees and everything that you were looking for, making that attractive for a person to stay. I mean, it was all attractive for me because I was here, at that time I was raising my family and, doing all of those other kinds of things. And so I took on the highway as well. And I was able to juggle all these things and to do all of these things, and had a good full-time job of it, and plus some. And so that was what getting the person, just listening to what you want for requirements for this job. Having something that's going to be attractive, that you're going to have a person, how much you want them to make, and what else is out there in their field. If you have someone with a 4-year degree or something, or which ran into some of those things with planners.
Yeah.
Don't you think about that, Greg? We need you. But we had that situation with planners for a while.
Yeah. That's why
Where planners would come, and then there would be other things that were attractive with their experience and education elsewhere, and we kept losing our planners. And I'm just hoping that it'll be somebody. I'm stepping back from, all of this, that wants to be as deeply involved and wants to, put their heart and soul into Danby.
Mark?
Yeah, thanks. I can definitely see how all the different pieces of this are intertwined in a way that makes it really
Yeah.
hard to pull apart. Like going all the way to considering the equitability of raising one without raising others. One idea is, I kind of feel like the board, maybe plus Laura, could have like a working meeting where we sit down. Cause like right now, we're not looking at the budget, but ideally, if we're gonna raise
Yeah.
one salary and then we're talking about raising others, we should be making that conversation in the context of
Right.
like, where does that money come from? Cause we can raise it right now, but ultimately we need to have a balanced budget. So I feel like maybe there needs to be a conversation
Yeah,
about the equitability and about this.
You know, and there has been some on that already, because I'll point out that back in the budget process, we, you know, when the whole question of the clerk's salary was being discussed at the time, we were leaning in the direction of saying, let's not mess with the salary so much, because it's in line with other clerks around the county. But there was a possibility of, you know, added duties that
Right.
match the talents of whoever ended up being clerk, including the website,
Right.
the newsletter, as being
Yeah.
additional tasks with additional compensation associated with them that would recognize the, you know, so that when the next person comes along, they don't have the same talents, we wouldn't be stuck with the higher salary for lesser capability. Now, of course, we may end up with a clerk for life, so that may not be an issue, but anyway, that was a thought at the time.
Yeah.
Was to augment it rather than include it.
right.
Yeah. But I have to say that I feel hesitant to like say, yes, let's increase it without having a conversation over
Yeah.
how that fits into the budget.
Right.
And I mean, I know that right now Laura's getting insurance, so this in theory doesn't change that part of our budget, but we are authorizing an additional full-time health benefits eligible position.
Yeah, and
I feel
that's
like that must impact our budget in a pretty significant way. I mean, I guess it doesn't.
well,
but
it doesn't
feels-
because, but it does have, it's not like it's not a significant part of the compensation. It's ridiculous. It's approaching $40,000 for the insurance with family coverage.
Yeah.
Of which the employee pays 9%. And the balance, you know, 91% is a town expense. That's a lot of money. And I mean, we have a $40,000 position with a $40,000 benefit, and that's just the insurance.
Right.
You know, the benefits exceed the salary. That's the reality of where we are today, the healthcare costs being expensive as they are. But I'll complicate it a little bit more because, you know, Laura wants to retain her health insurance. But it's individual instead of family. It makes a difference between 40,000 and 14,000. So it would be $14,000 more for her to have the coverage.
So this is just a huge additional conversation. I think we need
Yeah.
that.
That's what I.
Because we can't-
We need to make
Yeah.
space and also make it separate from the process of, you know, looking at candidates. and
Right.
Which candidate, feels like it's too many things for us to make a clear answer that solves all those different
Right.
questions at once, rather than pulling them apart.
Right.
And taking time.
And that was what was so confounding for me, was because they're all confounded, you know, how do you deal with the need to, you know, replace the bookkeeper?
Yeah.
And I will say this, you know, that Laura has responded to this dilemma in which we find ourselves by being willing to postpone a retirement so that we can get the right person in position. And still she can still participate in the training.
I'm here for whatever you guys need. Whatever
Thanks,
you
Laura.
guys need and however it's gonna take, whatever kind of training, whatever is gonna happen. And I plan on hanging around for a while in the highway, as long as Keith will have me, and hanging around and being part of the town and doing whatever I need to do to make sure that things are going to be good.
And I do think also part of the confusion about these things being, you know, intermingled was like, after the meeting, I spoke to each of us and figured that we had kind of each understood that we agreed on something different.
Yeah.
Like whether we
Right.
had rate, yeah, we were not all clear and actually
Right.
had to consult Blake's notes because we each had kind of heard the final motion.
Things different.
Differently.
Yeah.
We weren't all agreed on whether we had agreed to make it a full-time position with a raise, which is what Leslie thought, or whether
No, I didn't know.
just allocated a one-time
it's part of the
$10,000
discussion.
training
Yeah.
fee, which is
Right.
what I thought.
Which is correct.
Well, yeah, I mean, but also for us to have voted on something without being clear on what we're voting on,
Right.
it makes me feel very nervous. And I just don't feel like it's a good practice.
Yeah.
And we also, in that motion, the last one at the last meeting, had acknowledged an appointment, which we are now posting, which also feels like puts us in conflict with our own process.
Yeah.
I would like to raise a motion that we rescind the resolution of
88.
resolution 88 of 2026,
Yeah.
so that we can like take the steps a little bit more slowly and clearly.
Yeah.
And, you know, all these really clear on each step.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
open
second
to
that.
Okay,
All right,
yeah. Can we do a follow-up motion about the potentially full-time?
Yeah, separate,
Well,
as long as they're all separate
yeah.
things.
I mean, I actually, potentially full-time. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
All right, potentially,
all right, Connors?
yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Larkins?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Gagnon?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I mean, what should have been brought forward, and was my intent, was a discussion about whether this could be full-time. And I sensed the board being supportive of the prospect with the right person.
I think to Mariah's point though, what are we agreeing to when we say make it full-time?
Yeah.
Because if, and I didn't do the math, but if 40,000 could be minimum wage times 40 hours, that's all, this position is already full-time. So are we agreeing to, what are we agreeing to specifically
We need
without
to-
using the word full-time?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's a good question, because if the reason that how I came up with 51.6 was just taking our living wage of 24.82, multiplying it times 40, times 52, and you end up with 51,650 hours. So that's, it's gonna say that's our town of Danby minimum wage, if you will. Now we've got people working in positions who are not working hourly, who are essentially working for less than that. And Laura's an example of you know, if she stays on a highway superintendent, in order to qualify for the health insurance, she basically is saying, I'm going to be working 40 hours for this salary, and what it works out to is, you know, $19 an hour or something. So it's less than.
Actually, if I had just, what I did was I just took the budget that is there for the budget that is there for the highway secretary. And I just said, okay, everything, I don't want to exceed that. And to pay the health insurance, pay my, you know, just a single policy health insurance, instead of handing me the money. And I'll work for whatever the hourly rate is that comes up to the rest. So just put that in there, keep me on the health insurance. I think it ended up to be something like $18 or $19 an hour if I come in 25 hours a week or however I do it. And to just pay that. So instead of handing it to me and me handing it back to you to pay for it.
Yeah.
And also it's helpful.
We just need to have a meeting.
Because I'm gonna be drawing all of my benefits. I'll be honest with this, I'll be drawing all my benefits and everything. And I'm only allowed to make $23,500. That does not, health insurance benefits are not part of that. So I can work for a lot less and just, as long as I stay within your budget of what you have planned there, whether it goes here or whether it hands to me and I hand it back to you or however it goes, I don't ever want to exceed that budget for that line item, but I want to put in good time and be a good asset to Keith and to the highway. There's a bunch of projects and things in there that I've wanted to get done, financial things as well, and different types of documentation. So that will, and then all the other tasks that are there.
I would note that it is 7:52
Yeah.
for 8 minutes.
We,
Yeah, yeah.
we need to have a separate meeting
So, I
to
mean-
look at the budget. And-
Yeah, I mean, you want to have a separate meeting just to focus
I
on
think we
it?
should have a working meeting so we can
Yeah.
talk about how these things,
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Definitely.
That'll also give us some time. I think we have to be clear about a few other things too. Let's pull out our handbook. What we have set up is what is considered full-time and with benefits and everything. And I think we have to be clear with retirement too. What the,
Right.
how many days a person would get, say somebody worked just the 32 hours or just, how that all
Mhm.
filters in so that like you say, you want to attract a person that's going to stay. You want part of the benefits or something to attract a person with good qualifications. So if that, we'll make all that clear too before that meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
okay,
mean, all that stuff is,
Right.
ought to be clarified and made
Right.
part of the discussion.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys are clear on all of that.
So you want to schedule a meeting?
Okay.
Again, I wish I brought my calendar.
I know, I don't have my calendar
Maybe we
either.
can, maybe we'll do it digitally
Yeah.
and then we'll.
Figure out
post it
when
on-
we can-
Post it on the website, because it'll be a public meeting, because
Yeah.
it'll be all of us there, but we.
Yeah, right.
Send it around.
Yeah. Right. It's just if we did now, we could all agree on when it's gonna
Right.
be.
Okay, so we need to figure that out.
And
Yeah,
that can just be the sole focus.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
but there's a lot there to talk about.
okay.
But you want me to propose a date outside of the meeting? I mean, I don't have my calendar with me.
No, because I don't have my calendar either.
Yeah, okay,
So,
but we agree that
to do-
we will meet.
yeah,
In not too distant future.
Yeah.
Probably before the next meeting, but.
and we have to have
Next
Laura
week.
there for budget stuff.
Laura needs to be
Yeah.
there to larger discussion.
Okay,
I'm willing to help this town in any way that I can over the next couple of years.
thanks.
All right,
I love the town. My heart and soul's into what I do and making sure things are right.
all righty.
As flimsy
Um,
as that might sound, that's just me.
That's okay, you can sound like that.
Yes,
Thank you. My personality, what can I say?
what's that?
Could I ask for a formal motion to be made to schedule a meeting?
Well,
You don't have to, just.
I mean, I can call it, it's gonna be well, it's a special meeting, right? I can call it a special meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't need to be a formal board
Right.
action.
Right,
We agree that we're gonna do it, but we don't have the time, so. Yeah.
Just in terms of agreements
Yeah.
versus what you actually vote on
Right.
are recorded differently.
Let's make a motion. I move that we have a special meeting in order to consider all of these employment scenarios.
I'll second that.
Connors,
Yes,
Dylan,
Yes.
Larkins,
Yes.
Bruce.
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes,
thank you.
let's see. The you call, but the water district is has engaged Hunt engineers. Or it wants to, we're at the contract stage of signing agreement with Hunt for assessing the system and what needs it might need for improvement. The contract's been proposed by Hunt. We reviewed it, the committee met Wednesday with some suggested modifications, which I sent to Hunt, and they said, sure. And then they sent a couple back saying, and we'd like to change this too. So part of that agreement is that we need to have an authorized person be the decision maker for the decisions that need to be made in implementing the contract.
okay,
Typically, that would have been the operator. That's what happened last time around, because Todd was the operator
right,
at the time. But the operator doesn't have the time or the desire on top of his full-time job to take that on. So we talked about it, the committee talked about it. And Leonard Dodge is willing to play that role.
okay,
So in order for somebody on an advisory committee to serve in the capacity of making decisions, we need to, I think it's appropriate for the board to authorize them to do that.
okay,
So I propose that we name Leonard as the representative for the town in contract execution decisions.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Connors?
Yes,
Dylan?
Yes.
Larkins?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yeah.
Daniel?
Yes.
Thank you.
Um,
For the next topic, the link in the agenda is wrong. Just want to note that.
oh, you put a link,
The NICEAG resolution, there's a link in the agenda, but it's pointing to the Finger Lakes
oh,
grant application.
I didn't realize it got linked at all.
what was that?
because it's kind of late in the game, but
The night type thing?
The Yeah.
NICEAG resolution is just linked to the thing I just filled in on.
Where's my,
it's in the meeting folder though. But evidently didn't get, I didn't realize it got linked at all.
yeah, no. Trying to stay on taste, trying to stay on top of things.
Yeah. This is something Leslie's putting
We
forward.
need to extend the meeting 15 minutes.
Well, we got 3 minutes to do it, but yeah, go ahead. Want to move
I move
that?
we extend the meeting 15 minutes.
Second. Who spoke first?
Mark,
Whoever you choose.
yeah, your choice. Yes.
Connors?
Yeah.
Dylan?
Yes.
Larkins?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Canyon?
Yes.
Mark, go ahead now.
I mean, you put it in the. Yes, I got what she is.
Yes, that'll work. I had seen it before, so I know what we're talking about. I saw it because you emailed it. It's fine. I'm sure it's working.
Okay. So Leslie, tell us about it. How did you come by this?
Well, I was eavesdropping on Dryden's town board meeting
Ah,
and and this is something that a number of local towns are passing.
yeah,
And the hope is to get enough towns to
Yeah.
weigh in on this issue so that maybe the Public Service Commission will take a different stand on costs of electricity.
mhm.
But this is, did you get a chance to read it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty
I didn't
self-explanatory.
take it all the way through myself.
But it's basically a resolution strongly urging immediate review of electric delivery charges, demanding improved cost controls and transparency, and authorizing formal complaints to the New York State Public Service Commission regarding the escalating costs of electricity. And there's a lot of whereases and
Yeah, but the result
Therefore,
also comes right down to,
and then, you know, the last resolve would be the town clerk of the town of Danby is directed to transmit copies of this resolution to the New York State Public Service Commission, NICEAG, the government of the state of New York, and members of the New York State Legislature.
or is that
Sure.
presumed rather than the whole legislature?
Yeah, with regards to members of the legislature, is there a, like, our representatives? or-
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, I think we have to, you know what, we don't want to send
Not
copies to the
Pennsylvania.
entire legislature. No, but not, neither do you want the entire assembly of the state of New York.
so our representatives. is it-
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is really good. Thank you for doing that. I have been
Yeah.
noticing that other people.
No.
And then thinking about it.
It's
but-
one of the
Mhm.
few things along with the flare that we need to address.
Can we add that our representative members of the New York State Legislature,
The word hour.
Our representatives, what?
our representative members?
Hour representative.
Oh,
And not the whole legislature.
well, yeah,
Maybe they'll share with each other.
Yeah, yeah, well, I'm suspecting, I mean, others may be hearing from elsewhere.
I mean, yeah. Maybe the representatives of
Yeah.
Erie County aren't gonna care about us, so.
Mhm.
By neighboring municipalities, sorry, nothing. Do you just mean any adjacent ones, like touching on all sides?
But yeah, but you need adjacent when you say neighboring?
That's what he means, yeah.
Yeah, just because neighboring could also mean, you know, are we counting like? How far into Tioga County are we counting? Are we counting Spencer? Are we counting Cantor? Are we counting? We touch like.
I mean, we
5
could come up
towns.
with a list of,
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm
right,
getting,
Well, neighboring municipalities is not limited to Tompkins County, so it does include Candor and Spencer.
yeah,
Yeah.
all the ones that. share
Adjoin,
with-
yes.
Yeah, adjoining, but you know, like, we don't. Trying to think of another town, you know,
Well, why don't we
Ulysses.
substitute,
I'll share a word with Ulysses. Would we want to notify Ulysses? They probably have customers that use nice.
yeah, no doubt. Would it be adequate to substitute adjoining from neighboring?
Sure. I am.
Sure.
Yeah.
Adjoining.
This is all happening in real time on the web, in our folder. Moved and seconded. Somewhat discussed, want to discuss any more? Are we ready?
I think this is great, and we can continue the conversation because this feels like,
Mhm.
not to downplay it, but the minimum, and we should talk about what else we can do.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I did not catch a second for that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. All right.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, it's good to know. It doesn't show up in the minutes of the blank.
Yeah, no.
Right.
All right. Connors?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Larkins?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Canyon?
Yes.
Thank you.
We have, we got ourselves into the occasional situation where the time between the time we got the credit card bill and the time we had the board to look at it before it got paid, because of the meeting in New York City didn't work out. If we hadn't postponed the meeting, it would have worked, but because it got bumped to Friday, it didn't work. So we prepaid. We paid the credit card bill so we wouldn't incur late charges. So I just wanted on the record that we did it. So that it's not like an audit comes and says, you did this and the board didn't even know about it. No, the board knew about it, we did it anyway.
Mhm.
So I move that the board acknowledge that there was a credit card prepayment here because of our unusual circumstance.
Second.
Just a second.
Ready?
All right. Connors?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Larkins?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Canyon?
Yes.
Thank you.
A larger discussion consequently resulted. And Leslie had a discussion with somebody from the controller's office about, not with Tom DiNapoli, but somebody.
Yeah.
And there are indeed only three options, which it's included in a memo from Leslie to the board, which is also in the meeting folder. You can either pay it late. You could pay it in advance of board review, which is also a violation either way. Or you could have a special meeting, which seems like the tail wagging the dog to me, but Leslie's willing to have a special meeting when this happens in order to avoid paying late charges. Are the board members willing to have a special meeting?
And to also avoid having this issue, which is an issue for every town,
Yeah.
to turn up in an audit.
Mhm.
So, I mean, this is what the option is.
Mhm. That's actually what the controls office suggested. Have a special meeting just to pay the bill.
Sure, but
I think so too.
like
10
what we need
minutes.
to do, yeah.
I mean,
The cost of having a special meeting in terms of noticing, driving to it, time it takes to be able to get together, because it has to be an in-person meeting to count, is way more than the late charges that would be incurred if you just did it late. Or the penalty associated with paying it early, even though it's not kosher. Like, well, what are you gonna do about it? You're gonna get called out for having done it, but other than that, there's no legal consequence. But personally, I think that the controller's office ought to be working with the legislature to fix it, rather than saying comply.
Right.
Pointing
if
out
I
when
could-
you don't do it.
And if I could point out, there's like 7 or 8 of those issues, of those things that they ticked us for their audit, all pertain to this subject. This subject, and the wording that they used on that was as if we were being very irresponsible, we were not following policy, when sometimes your back's kind of up against the wall and you're trying to figure out what's the right way to go about it and what to do. So I just wanted to point that one out because, and here we are again with an exact situation like this, trying to
Yeah.
figure out what's the right way to go about it.
But I'm
And
thinking,
there was one other bill too. I mean, Blake had one that if we didn't pay it,
right,
you know, it was gonna end up with a late charge. In that case, we opted to incur the late charge. But again, you're in violation when you do that
Right,
too. So it's
right.
like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
you know?
but I mean, I'm feeling like for the next meeting, we could come up with a procedure that's not complicated. You know, the supervisor can call a meeting, a special meeting, but just to outline, you know, making a good faith effort to let people know, because it'd be a public meeting, we'd have to set up Zoom, but you know, there wouldn't be time for newspaper, but it could be on the website and listed as a meeting that people could plug into, and only an abstract would be discussed at the meeting.
You pay the bill,
I
basically.
actually asked this question of one of the lawyers, from the New York Association of Towns, and people might not like this, but we're not required to do Zoom in those meetings. We're required to notify them, we are required to open things up, but if it would make our lives easier, as long as we give people notice and people can come in here, we don't have to set up Zoom.
No, that's
Allow people to join virtually, unless a board member is attending virtually, in which case,
Oh,
if we're allowing a
okay.
board member to join virtually, then members of the public can join.
Okay,
But we aren't required otherwise, which I felt
That's
like
good
was
to
not
know.
really clear.
Yeah.
I asked her really clearly because I
Yeah.
wanted to know, just because that feels like it increases the level
Right.
of complexity sometimes.
Not a whole lot. I mean, it's not that hard to do.
I mean, the other
Zoom,
thing,
But,
I mean.
and that's by policy, basically.
Yeah.
You know, Tompkins County is fairly unusual, I think, in terms of my impression, across New York State. Meetings were by Zoom during COVID. And while there
Right.
was the governor's emergency order enabled it. Once the order expired, or was terminated, then we were then subject to the same in-person meeting requirements.
You only got-
Some towns,
Got like 5 minutes, Joel.
yeah, some towns fell back on not Zooming.
Yeah,
Which is
yes,
nice.
But most
Right.
well, I think every town in Tompkins County, basically by policy, said we're gonna continue doing this.
Leslie's fuming.
What's the fumes about? Yeah, that's right.
I mean, one of the things we could do is record the meeting.
Sure.
And if people, you know, if we don't offer Zoom,
Yeah.
we could record the meeting and people could listen to it.
So should we try to draft a policy
Yeah.
or some kind of internal thing of what's our policy for
Yeah.
when we need to gather?
And the
to give
steps.
approval,
Yeah.
and we'll just have it so you can reference.
Yeah.
it? That's a good idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
We'll
I-
do that
I thought
for the
we could
next-
even
for
do-
the
we could
next-
even do it now.
for the next meeting.
Yeah, but, yeah, okay, so my only concern why we're talking discussion at all was that there'd be enough board members willing to have the extra meeting.
That's true.
Because I know.
Because we'd
so
need-
you're gonna
we'd
do it
need
without
three.
me.
We need to have 3 people.
Yeah, we need 3 people willing,
3 people.
And it may be 4 times a year.
if it's that much. It could happen.
So,
Totally fine.
Yeah, I guess it's 3 of us, maybe with the clerk, although I think we could take the minutes ourselves if the clerk couldn't be there, and it was very limited.
It's a regular meeting.
If you you yourselves cannot take minutes, you have to appoint someone else.
Yeah.
But
right,
But it could be somebody else, it could be
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
right.
yes.
But
We'll figure that.
it's a meeting of the
And
board.
it could be
10
recorded.
o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
10:30.
Yeah, right.
Right,
I live close by, it's perfectly okay to just like kind of spring it on.
if we bring coffee and
Yeah.
donuts.
It's an addition, right, it's an additional imposition.
Okay, so we'll bring that back.
Yeah, okay, so that's the game plan is then to bring it back.
Yeah.
All right.
And the other thing related was that audit of the credit card bills. So just look at it, rip it apart, see if there's things missing, which I don't think there are, but things missing or things, some people want to take off some things.
You want to put that in agenda for next time?
Did you send it out?
No, I actually thought you were talking about something else. I don't think I've seen that.
No,
What is that?
Oh, I thought you were gonna post that
I'm
along
not
with,
sure.
along with the other one. Okay,
I
we'll
didn't.
get it
yeah.
out. It's just a
You wanna bring it
quick
up?
bill review.
You want to bring it up next time?
Yeah, next time. But those were two things that came out of trying to fix the audit.
Right.
They wanted some kind of procedure for auditing the credit card bills.
Other things to put on next time?
So credit card bills.
In this case, is there a way for you to ask credit card companies to have the bill be at a certain?
That's the bank, the credit card bill.
That was
it's the bank.
suggested was that, you know, if your
Yeah.
credit card carrier, in fact, I guess it was suggested, why
Yeah.
don't ask them whether they'll modify their due date, you know, for a municipality.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, that has been checked into, and they said no, but we could also check into that again and or switch banks.
Yeah, shop around.
Because shop and see
shop
whether
around.
others would be willing
Yeah.
to do it.
So, and that would solve some of the problem, but there's still, like came up recently, there are other bills besides a credit card that have we're gonna get a late fee if they aren't paid. So if we could fix a credit card billing issue, but still have it come up, then only twice a year.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll also note that there are some legislative changes, not changes, but, you know, it's a frequent topic among clerks.
Yeah.
That the law has not caught up with the fact that we all have municipal websites now.
Yeah.
And that is
Right.
something that
Right.
is being considered by state
Yeah.
legislature. Changing it so that way notifications don't need to happen in newspapers that
Right.
are published daily.
that nobody wears, or wears,
Yeah.
or buys, reads.
Yeah.
Yeah, wear it either, yeah.
But
Right.
there are those legislative changes underway that would make a special meeting and publishing notice of that a lot more feasible. There are also, I have to double check on special meetings, but I
Yeah.
forget, there's some kind of meeting that there needs to be notice to the press and media.
Right.
That somehow counts as public. It's a really weird thing, and I can't get a straight answer out of anything about it. But yeah, special meetings are not this nebulous and impossible thing that it happens. Yeah. I'm more than willing to do it.
Well, I got those three things. Anything else
Leslie,
specifically for next time?
we didn't report back on the court audit.
Oh,
Should we put that on the next?
right,
agenda?
I
Okay.
wanted to talk,
So you did it?
I wanted to talk with Gary. What,
Page 15.
Yeah.
That's
for this meeting.
but
I got it.
we did an audit of we tried to do an audit of the court and we weren't able to look at any of the documents. So we need to talk with Gary
Would you say? you have-
and maybe Guy,
Yeah.
about what, how to get the town board access to visually seeing records.
Yeah, I mean, you're being
But
told.
I wanted to talk with Gary before, taking it too
Mhm.
far,
Yep,
because maybe he'll just invite us back in.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
being handed the form with blank filled in is not the same thing as looking at the underlying document. That's kind of
No.
the point of the audit. Okay, well, that then having covered the subject of the matter, the meeting is adjourned.
Okay.
Thank you.
Night, everyone. Take
Night.
care. Have a good weekend.
Friday.
Blake will have to permanently meeting.
She's still in her office?
I feel so.
You're not doing the good.
What's that for?
The president.
Yeah, I know.
Not me.
What do I need for?
Joel, he's the middle town supervisor right there, you want him
Yeah,
to?
anybody can
Oh,
find it.
sure.
Oh, thanks, Epic.
Is that why you're here?
Oh, that's your, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't actually know. I saw you at the one.
Yeah.
You really collected the flag.
You gonna do your puzzle while you're here?
Greg,
You did earlier.
you guys got your keyboard, you want to end the meeting?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for your.
You guys need
What's that?
notepads for your office?
Yes.
Board.